Hi there, it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts, UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Thank you very much for joining me today. I am thrilled to be taking part in the Creating Kindness Around the World blog and video hop today. I was delighted to be asked to be the guest designer, so real challenge. The theme for this hop is colour and one's motivation for using colour, etc, etc. There's details of that on my blog, which is linked below, as are the links for all the other people taking part in the video bit of the hop. Not everyone takes part in the video hop, but those that are, you'll find the links below in the description bar. So this is the project that I have come up with. I love direct to paper and I don't often get a chance to do it. But as today is colour as a theme, I thought I would make the most of it and bring you this card. So my motivation for colour and when I use colour depends very much on the mood I'm in. It also depends on the season. I tend to do brighter colours when I think everything needs a bit of a lift. And sometimes I'll use almost no colour at all. So, as I say, there's more details of that on my blog, which is below. So, this project, it kind of just came to me. There are various YouTube videos of people doing things that are similar to this. So many of them that to mention one would be not mentioning the others. So let's get started and I will show you how I made it. Hopefully I can get it done in a reasonable length of time. So we start with a basic Whisper White card base. I have pre-stuck a frame onto this because the inside of the card needs to be covered so that you can bring the colour right to the edge. I actually used sponge daubers for the original. I'm going to try it with just sponges to see if we can do it a little quicker, because it does take a little bit of time, and I may or may not be able to speed up the video to deal with that. So let's get going and see what I can do. Okay, so I'm starting with Saffron and I'm just going to add some colour to the top of my card. And this definitely seems to be taking less time than the original. I do want to make sure that I get right into the corners so that there's an obvious edge, although you'll be surprised how quickly the edge appears. So I'm going to come all the way down with my Saffron. Now, if you have that wonderful purple masking tape, that works very well for this. I don't, so I'm using washi tape. And I did stick it to my trousers before I stuck it to the card, because you do want to try and take a little bit of the stickiness off. I'm going to bring that yellow right down in the middle because I want the sun reflection to be showing. And then I'm just going to deepen that a wee bit with crushed curry. And the reason I'm doing both is because you will never get a solid base. And you don't really want a solid base, you want the difference of the colour. So it's quite nice to be able to build up layers. Okay, now at this point I'm going to decide where my horizon is and stick my moon, or sun rather, on that. This is just a piece of Postit Note that has been punched with a 1-inch circle punch, and I'm just going to pop that just by eye into the middle of my card, and then I'm going to add a bit more crushed curry around that. And then I'm going to start with a bit more colour, so I'm bringing in Calypso Coral to begin with. And I'm not worried about going down at this stage. I will ultimately be adding a line but I do that later on, and I do it kind of the other way up. Although having said that, I think I might add it in now. Right, so to add in my line, all I need is a scrap of paper, one scrap of paper, and I'm just going to pop that. This will be my horizon, and I'll just grab some more washi tape to, oops, find the end. Always good to be able to find the end. Just attach that to the side, making sure it's reasonably straight. We don't want the horizon dipping out the side of our scene. There we go. Right, and now I can really make an edge. Okay, so that's all the sort of background for there, and then I'm going to come in with Sweet Sugar Plum and with Adorba and just add a bit of that kind of softer, pinkier tone. Sweet Sugar Plum is great for this, and it's going to go. We've only got Sweet Sugar Plum for a short while longer because it's one of our retiring in colours, and it's such a lovely soft pink. It just adds that softness without too much of the red tone. It's more of a blue tone pink. And then I'm just going to add a very, very small line of rich raspberry, and it's almost imperceptible. Right, okay, so let's take that off, and then I'm going to flip it over, leaving the sun there for a moment, and I'm going to bring this all down so that it's very slightly further down than it was. And there is method in my madness, honest. Right, okay, so let's start with some Marina Mist to build up a good background colour. How are we doing for time? Oh, we're only on 7-8 minutes, so I'm not doing badly. So colour is one of those wonderful things that it can make such a difference. So if you're on a slightly down day, I always think it's quite nice to change the mood by introducing bright jolly colours. So I quite often, if I'm having a bit of a down day, I will grab the brighter colours, which is slightly counterintuitive, but I've found that that's what works for me. Right, so at this point I am just going to lift that up and take off my sun, and you can see there is this just bright line which you often get on really nice warm evenings at sunset. So that's what we're looking at. So now I'm going to bring in some Dapper Denim, and I will try and keep this slightly yellow hint in the middle. So I'll try and avoid coming into this bit too much. Right, so we are getting somewhere. So I'm just going to bring in my Marina Mist again and just try and soften down that yellow a little bit, because it is looking just a little bit too yellow for me, particularly the actual sun, and that's just to be the reflection of the sun. Right, and now I'm going to do some of those really weird things with colour. I'm going to bring in some darker colours again. So I'm going to bring in the rich raspberry, and There's probably enough still on my dauber. And just bring that in from the side, and I don't mind if it goes a little bit over that middle. And then a little more sweet sugar plum. And then that's probably all I need to do on that. So let's take that off. Yep, that's perfect. That's just what I wanted. So if I now very carefully take my mask off, there we are with our nice framed inking. Clear some of the bits off. Right, now this is where the Stamparatus is brilliant, because I'm going to want to stamp the same image twice. And the important thing with this is that your image must be bigger than the aperture you're going to cut. So with the Stamparatus, let's get rid of, I've already mounted up from the High Tide stamp set, which I love, the flying birds, the standing birds, and one of the bits of grass. And it is those that I am going to be using particularly. Ooh, my little mat. I'm using clear stamps. Mat is moving. Right, there we are. Okay, I've covered my magnet with washi tape, and I'm only using one because I don't think I'm going to need the other one. So, Memento Tuxedo Black. Can you see what I'm doing more or less? Okay, let's get rid of one of these. This is where actually the stamp set's quite useful because it's about the same height as the, let's move everything. It's about the same height as the Stamparatus, so it's quite useful to have it below your flap when you're inking up. So bring that over and just press that down to make sure you get good coverage. And I'm sorry if I'm rocking the table. And then the joy of the Stamparatus is that you can re-ink and come back in to get really good crisp images. And I don't mind that I've gone onto the background of the Stamparatus because it won't, this ink here won't transfer because it's too high up. That's better. I just want to do that, the head of that wader a bit more. And there we are. Right, now I can flip my card over and do the same thing on the front of the card, making sure I get that right into the corner. And just stamp that down. Now I'm not too worried about these this time. It's the bits that I'm worried about are the outside, so I will just do it one more time just so it's a really good black image. Now you could of course use our basic black, the archival, but I'm quite happy to use the Memento for this. Right, okay, so now we just need to cut the aperture and then we'll stamp the sentiment. So I've got one of the lots of labels, framelets, and it's the second from largest. And all I'm going to do is pop this down and run it, attach it to my magnet, run it through my Big Shot, which I'll do off camera, and then bring it back. And I'll just run it through so that I've got some of the images flying off the side. So bear with me while I do that. I'm using the magnetic plate because then I know it's going to stay reasonably put. Otherwise you can use washi tape just to attach your frame to your card. Nice crack. I always like it when I hear the nice crack. So there we are. And then just pop that out. And then if I close this up, it matches up perfectly. So we just need to get the sentiment in, which I'm hoping I have cut everything in the right place. Let me just bring in my other... Yep. I'm actually going to do it further across. So I'll take out this and pop in my other plate, and then I'll actually do it the other way around. I'll pop my... Can you see what I'm doing? Just about. So I've popped my sentiment down, and then I can attach my magnet, pick up my sentiment, make sure my card is down again, and then just ink this up and over, down, and I don't think that needs to be done again, so that's that done. Brilliant. Right, okay, so let's close that up again and get rid of it, and I'll sort out cleaning it up in a moment. Right, okay, so for the final bits on the inside, I'm just going to grab a couple of the little stamps to add some extra bits and pieces. So with the Marina Mist, you may need to come in with the Dapper Denim, but I'll start with the Marina Mist. In fact, let's just... Yeah, it should be all right. So I just want a bit of a... Yes, perfect. Just where the birds are standing, I want there to be a bit of a ripple. That's all I need that one for. And then I'm just going to add... There's a little tiny weeny little grass. Isn't it always the way that the phone rings? And I'm going to ignore it because it'll be for someone else. My husband is here, so he'll be able to answer the phone. So I'm actually just going to come in, making sure that you don't go where the frame is, because you don't want it to be... You want it to either be hidden by the frame or not, basically not here. But I just want to add a little bit more in this corner. There we are. That is it. So the final touch are some little glitter gems. So we've got the gems that are in the Spring Summer catalogue. They're the glitter and clear epoxy shapes, and I'm just going to add 3 of those to my card. Just one here and one here, and finally one up here, because I like my 3s in a triangle. And that is it. So that's the one we've just made. This is the one I made previously. So as you can see, they're slightly different. You're always going to get a slightly different finish because you're working direct to paper. But I hope you enjoyed that. Do hop along with the rest of the video hop and with the blog hop. And I hope to see you again very soon. Thanks a lot for joining me. Bye!